Hi there, I'm Ian Roth.
And I'm Travis Drayton.
And this is the first edition of Green White Checkered. We got a lot of news coming up, so let's get to it.
I'm ready.
Meanwhile,
so we're starting with the Sprint Cup here. A lot of news coming down. Number one on our list here is that crew chief Nick Harrison will be Phoenix racing in the 51 car after this week's Cup race at Kansas. He said he's going to move to the 33 RCR car and the Nationwide Series.
Right.
He's been there for 4 years, so since 2009, I believe.
Right.
And Jimmy Elledge has been rumored as a replacement for that car. And that'll be for the final 6 races, I suppose. And that will be, and he will come in Charlotte. That'll be the Charlotte race that he comes in.
Right.
And that'll be Kyle Larson's first Sprint Cup race.
Making his debut. The big thing there is Jimmy Elledge coming out of retirement. Big deal. NASCAR is a sport where coming out of retirement is a tough deal because it's a strenuous position to be in at first.
I hear you, and that's, I guess you could make the same way for people like Terry Labonte,
Yeah.
that tried to come out and just obviously signed up for the Daytona race and obviously could not.
Yeah, just runs Daytona races here and there, and he's lost his edge. So to see Jimmy coming back, having that confidence that he can still be the star crew chief is amazing. 3 drivers have announced that they will be operating pink-themed race cars in the upcoming races. Notable ones: the number 10 Stuart Haas Racing entry of Danica Patrick will be sporting a green and a pink paint scheme. The 16 and the 17 of Roush Fenway Racing with Greg Biffle and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will both also be running pink race cars. I should note Danica will be racing pink cars for the month of October, so those will be races in Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega, and Martinsville. The Roush Fenway Racing entries will be racing at Martinsville primarily. Another added scheme is Clint Boyer, driver of the number 15 5-hour Energy Toyota, will be piloting a Raspberry Edition Toyota. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of these different paint schemes. Obviously, you know that I'm a fan of these different paint schemes.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting because I don't think I've ever witnessed a pink car out there before. I think
it's going to be huge.
I think the pink thing is so strictly made for the women.
Yeah.
And NASCAR, like they just feel like they have to have a pink card, like to signify with it. Yeah. But this whole thing, I guess, it'll look good.
I should note also last year in the 2012 chase, Clint Boyer also ran a pink scheme. That was for pink lemonade, so he's mixing up with his flavors, going raspberry this weekend, or rather this month.
Hey, you can do what you want as long as you get that stuff.
And it is a great cause. A lot of people get a lot of flack for overdoing it, but there isn't a greater stage in NASCAR. It's huge.
Right. The third thing, Justin Allgaier set to make his second NASCAR Sprint Cup Series start this weekend at Kansas, and he'll have Brant on board for that car. He made his debut in that rain-delayed Chicagoland race that I only caught a part of.
Yeah, that was
a
5-hour rain delay.
That's probably why I only caught a part of it. I'm not a fan of the rain delay.
They raced
I don't like
109, I think was the lap they got to, and finished. And of course, we know Matt Kenseth won that race and went on to win at New Hampshire the following week.
We'll have more on Matt Kenseth later in the show. You especially have more on Matt Kenseth.
Yeah.
But continuing with this, he finished 27th in that race. And it's his Cup schedule, I think, that they said is going to be changed from its original format. He'll now be racing at Talladega in Phoenix, and he'll lose his Charlotte event, and that will be to Kyle Larson once again.
He'll make his Cup debut.
Yeah. I don't remember us having any offset talks about Kyle Larson. I haven't heard. I guess I've only heard good things about this kid, but I know we've had conversations where I've said that all these nationwide drivers coming up are very under par.
Yes,
Especially these last 2 years.
yeah, we've talked about that incident with Tony Stewart and David Bellman,
Right.
who claimed that winning one nationwide race wasn't enough to guarantee him a cup ride, and it did. You know, I watched a 2012 truck race with Kyle Larson, and battling for the lead. It did a really nice job. Unfortunately, you know, cautions didn't fall in his way. He finished the bridegroom position, as I say, in second place. You know, big news for him though, he will have a full-time cup ride next year as he replaces Juan Pablo Montoya in number 42 Target Chevrolet.
And you got some good news for AJ Allmendinger fans, I think.
I do. AJ Allmendinger fans. This is awesome. He's going to be back in the 47 car this weekend at Kansas, sporting yet another very famous paint scheme. No, it's not pink, but it is part of the Scott Shared Values program, in which the Win My Car sweepstakes contestants who enter the sweepstakes get a chance to win the ride of their lifetime in a cup car. And that'll be adorned on the hood for number 47, Scott Hoggott's Toyota for JTG Garden Racing.
That's a good time. It sounds like a good time.
Always wanted to.
I've never done that. I've never actually gotten into a stock car. And that seems really stereotypical if you sit here on this show and say that I've never been in the stock car. And that seems just kind of stupid. I'm going to take this last one just real quick. Robin Pemberton, Vice President of Competition, if you didn't know that, revealed that Ford's 2014 Gen 6 nose was approved. The wind tunnel stuff looked good.
Yeah,
Not too big.
no super advantage, no super disadvantage. Mainly just because cleaning the debris off of the Ford nose has become an issue. And also the fact that the Ford nose is actually a separate piece of the car and can pop off on the racetrack in a collision, so that's good news.
Good news. Yeah, so that'll wrap it up for the Sprint Cup segment. Stay tuned, we'll have Nationwide coming up next. Back. We got Nationwide coming up. Travis, why don't you start us off here?
All right, well, in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, Levi and Family Racing, which we all know fields the number 95 Ford Fusion in the Sprint Cup Series, announced that they will be fielding a NASCAR Nationwide Series entry. Again, it'll be number 95 Ford, this time a Mustang, for the 2014 season entirely, which is, you know, that's good for a team like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Small team, you know, that's definitely good. They said that Reed Sorensen will race the car at Charlotte on the 11th of October, and then Michael McDowell will race at Texas on November 2nd. And we all know Michael McDowell's story at Texas, that horrific crash he had a couple years back now.
It's rough.
It seemed like that was yesterday, but that was a couple years ago. That's like,
I mean, that's what kept the car tomorrow a thing. You know,
yeah,
obviously.
that's a very good point. That's a big reason why we have the cars that we have today. Chad Hackenbrock, Regan Smith, Brad Sweet, Parker Kligerman will be working the pink paint schemes. We've talked about that already.
They're back.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Just keep rolling here to Jennifer Jo Cobb will be returning to the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
I'm really not sure how to respond to that, you know. She's going to be in a different car. She won't be in the 70 anymore. She will be in the 23. Mark I Electric signing on as
and she's coming back this weekend. That's Kansas. It's her home track. I can't tell you if I feel excited or if I feel like this is just another letdown in the NASCAR community.
You know, and really nothing against Cobb, but I mean, it takes a lot to get in that position, but you know, I think it's going to be a letdown. I don't think this revival, this reoccurrence is really going to help her.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take another quick break. We'll be back with our fantasy picks, so you may want to stick around.
Everyone I see just walks the walk with gritty, but I just stand by and I wait my time. They say you got it, toe the line. They want the water, not the wine, but when I see the signs, I'll jump on that lightning bolt.
All right. So before the show started, you had a lot of anticipation about the fantasy pick segment.
Yes.
It was a very important segment. I do not do fantasy myself, so this is going to be hard for me. You might or might not get a laugh from my picks. But my favorite guy for next week is Jimmy Johnson. How do you not go with Jimmy Johnson?
Really?
He's one of the best at Kansas of all time. He has consistent top tens there. I think you can't go wrong, especially nowadays in this chase hunt with Matt Kenseth.
Yeah.
You cannot go wrong with him. My dunce for this week is Dale Earnhardt Jr. I might have just upset a lot of people.
Junior Nation is not happy with you right now.
But at this point, it's hard for me to believe that Junior's even in the chase.
Yeah.
It's so hard to accept the fact that he just doesn't race well. He doesn't race well under pressure, especially.
Something that definitely did not carry over from his father.
Statistics on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Last 5 years, he's only led one lap at Kansas, and that does not help his cause for this week. The underdog this week is Clint Boyer for me. Kind of an expensive guy to buy off your fantasy team, but let me tell you something. Last 5 years, 3 of those races have been top 10 finishes.
That's good.
And he's been consistently good. Last year, he finished second in points. And that was kind of his big breakout year. And he's really continued this through this year as well.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people overlook him, but I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, he definitely, he hasn't won the races he's won since last year. He's a safe pick. He's good.
Yeah.
You've done well. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I just don't do fantasy. It's not my thing. Let's see from the
my picks for this week.
Denver point of view.
Here we go. Favorite for this week, safer pick than Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, no, I knew you were going to say that because there's going to be all of NASCAR Nation right now is divided like we are. There's Jimmy Johnson on one side of the fence and there's Matt Kenseth. But go ahead, see what you got to say.
Oh gosh, I got to think about Mr. 5-time. Matt Kenseth hasn't lost since they repaved this track. Hasn't lost. I know it's only been 2 races, but repaved it for the the spring race, 2012, and he won that race along with the. What am I saying? They repaved for the fall race. I blew it. Fall race of 2012. He's won the spring race of 2013.
Right.
I'm picking him again this week. That 20 Toyota, it's fast. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. 7 wins this season.
It's a big number. Yet your dunce is Kurt Busch, and that makes me laugh. Are you not a Kurt Busch fan?
I am a diehard Kurt Busch fan. I love Kurt Busch. I can't stand his brother, but I love Kurt Busch. But here's my rant. Okay, Kurt Busch has done an amazing job with getting into the chase. Okay, the first driver to get a single car operation into the chase. Never been done before. Chase has only been around for a couple years, but that's a big thing. But his Achilles heel the past 3 or 4 weeks and all throughout the season is the pit crew. Several mistakes on pit road, costing races, costing good finishes. He switched pit crews to the number 2 Chevy from the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and they still had issues last week at Dover. So
yeah,
for him to have another bad week.
All right, continue.
And my underdog for this week is actually the teammate of my favorite driver, Marcus Ambrose. So, Eric Almirola driving the number 43 car.
I like that pick. I really like that. I don't do fantasy again. I wouldn't know, but he just seems like a safe pick every week. They send him out there.
He's had good qualifying runs in the past. Last year, he started on the front row with Jimmy Johnson. Ran an incredible race, consistently up front. A lot of people actually at the start of the race picked him to win. So I'm going to pick him, to get you good points. He's inexpensive. He'll get you good points. A lot of quality passes. A lot of laps.
So that wraps up that fantasy segment there. Hopefully we helped you out. Maybe I did not help you out. Please, if you're taking advice from me on fantasy, choose wisely. You take advice from this guy. Another short break. We'll be back with a little wrap up here.
Yep. Hey, if you're looking for a league to join, PS3 preferably, for the NASCAR The Game Inside Line, we've got a league for you. Welcome to the NASCAR Series XM Racing League. Great league run by Ian himself and myself. We are the commissioners of the league and active participants. If you'd like to visit the Facebook page, visit www.facebook.com/PS3NTGIL. You can also contact us at our Twitter handle @NSRXML. Hit me up anytime.
Here at Green White Checkered, we'd like to send a special thanks to Fox Sports, Stewart Haas Racing, Roush Fenway Racing, Phoenix Racing, JTG Daughtry Racing, the Levine Family Racing Company, NASCAR, the Sprint Corporation, the Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company, J-Skis, Silly Season Site, ESPN and ESPN.com, Facebook, and Twitter. That's all for us. Tune in next time for the second episode of Green, White, Checkered. I'm Ian Roth. That was Travis Drayton. We'll see you next time.